Where are we in
Samach Beis. We are finishing Ois Hay. וזה בחינוס אולם תשפירתא דלס לעינים.
Where is it?
Just after the union of Avraham Avinu and Sarah, Mitzrayim, וזה בחינוס אולם תשפירתא דלס לעינים. אולם תשפירתא זה בחינוס אמונה.
He says Shapirta Teres.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
What does that mean?
So we are looking for Emuna. Emuna. And we say when the Emuna is so complete, by the mere eating of a Jew with this kind of Emuna, he is bringing about the Chud Kutsha B'Yichud Shchinte Ponim B'Ponim. And this year, B'ezrat Hashem, is dedicated to the health of Rochel Baskal and Selma, and Moshe Ben Pesach, and all Klal Yisrael, B'ezrat Hashem. So we went through the process of explaining how you bring about that situation when the Emunah is so complete that it's already adorned, it's beautified, like a collar, a chasam. And the jewelry of the Emunah is people that were far from Emunah before. And now they get close to Emunah. So we went through a great deal, this entire Torah, how bring about this situation. And this whole thing is called the Zohar Kodesh. The Zohar says, what is Emunah? It says Emunah is akin, it's like a beautiful maiden that has no eyes. Eyes. And what the Zohar says, it's a beautiful maiden that has no eyes, says the Zohar. And he said her body of this Emunah, of this beautiful maiden, this marshal, is hidden and it's revealed. In other words, there's certain times when it's hidden, sometimes it's revealed. And it says, okay, when is it hidden and when is it revealed? It's called Yoitzes Baboicha. It comes out in the morning. And Skasa Bayom, it gets covered up during the day. And the Zohar continues and says, and then she is adorned with jewelry that she didn't have before. So what the Zohar is telling you here is exactly what we learned now. Ulimta Shapirta, the beautiful maiden, Ze B'chinas Emuna. That's the Emuna. B'chinas Yofa Asra Yossi. My beloved, my wife, you're beautiful. Right, Yossi? It means the one who is together with me. So the root of the word Yossi is Lashon Re'eh, to pasture. That the shepherd is together with he's Re'eh Emuna, pasture Emuna. So Yossi is Lashon Remez, is about Emuna, Re'eh Emuna. So why they say it has no eyes? Deles La'ini means that Hainu Elu Akashis She'en Ayin Behem. It has no eyes. Ein Eva Einin comes from the root of Iyun. When you investigate something, you want to understand it. So Zemuna, pure Emuna, is beautiful because Emuna is Nekeva, right? It's the Malchus. It has no eyes. It has no Iyun. It doesn't insist on understanding everything right away. These are the kashas that we said in the beginning that should not be investigated. It should not be. A person has to be mechazik in emuna without insisting of understanding everything right away, right now. Gufa tmirto v'izgalen, and the body is hiding and revealing. Kihi tmira, she herself is hidden. What does it mean that is hidden? He says, as a tam, if you ask somebody, explain to me why you believe. He's not able to give you a time. He can tell you, certain things indicate whatever it is, but actually to explain the emunah, you can explain emunah. Ki emunah, because the terminology of faith of emunah, it only has to do with something that a person doesn't know any reason for it. Doesn't know any reason for it. It's not something that you can prove logically. You believe? The emunah is only shaykh when you don't know. But even so, the galia, it is revealed. What does it mean? It's hidden or it's revealed? It's hidden because a person cannot explain it. The galia, but for a person who believes, it's totally, the person totally understands that. I mean, it's not the understand, he sees it, like you see with his own eyes. You believe in something, so you can't explain it. Okay, so you can't explain it, but it's like you're seeing with your own eyes. It's like you're seeing with your own eyes whatever it is that you believe in. Why? Because of the greatness of your complete emunah, when you believe something so completely, it's like you're seeing it with your own eyes. Okay, so what does it mean that it's hidden, it's revealed? This is nafkas b'tzafra. It is revealed, it comes out in the morning. It's being covered during the daytime. Reina says, because the emuna mischadeshet etzel ha'oda b'chol boker. The emuna is renewed by a person every single morning. Bivchinas, it says in Tehillim, chadoshim lavkorim, renewed in the mornings. Your emuna is great. Now the emuna is growing and is being revealed every morning. And is being covered during the day. Because of the busyness of the day-to-day business, the world, the distractions of this world. As when you wake up in the morning, you go to shul, and you daven, and whatever it is, so it's clear by you. Then, you take off your tefillin, you come home. Okay, now we need to do this, now we need to do that, we need to finish this, we need to finish that, and so forth and so on. In other words, and it says, that emuna, that is like a beautiful maiden that has no eyes, that it is hidden and it is revealed, comes out in the morning, is renewed in the morning. Then as the day goes on, it's covered up because, okay, now you got to the bank and have to speak to the bank manager. In the morning, you had to tell Baruch, we're going to give you everything. Yeah, but now you're into the day. So the emuna is covered up a little bit. Basically, it's there, but, it's not. And it's adorned with jewelry it didn't have before. I know, the main jewelry, the main adornment of the emuna, when you bring close to it people who until now were far away. This is what we explained before in the Torah before. So if we sort of like encapsulate what we have learned so far, we explain it through the learning of Peskim. A person is zeicher to know Hashem Yisbarach with a complete heart. That he knows answers to all the kashas in his head, in his heart. We said that in Ois Beis. He knows answers to the kashas that can be answered. The Torah, if you want to understand the world, if you know the entire Torah, you understand everything because Baruch Hu does in this world. These are the kashas that have answered. Now, commensurately, how much less Torah you have, there are certain things that you still cannot find out. But if you were to know the entire Torah, you understand everything that's happening in this world. There will be no kashas whatsoever.
It's like the ones you can't answer.
Okay, these are the ones that you can't answer. It's possible to answer. It's mitzvah to learn Torah, to learn to sharpen your down, so you're able to understand whatever it is you can understand. That the Kodesh Baruch Hu has made it so that it's understandable. It's a mitzvah to sharpen the seichel, to learn Gemara, to learn Poskim. For learning Poskim, you're able to Val de Tainis, and when you are doing Pchinas Tainis, you're fasting. As we said, side total fasting, side partial fasting. Moises Dibur Meitzer Agoran, you're taking the Dibur from the straits of the throat. You seal off the hind side of the kedusha. And then the klipos, this is okay. They cannot feed off the garbage cans from Pchinas Achoraim, but they're starving. So they're coming over, to be yonik from the face of the Kedusha itself. And when that happens, this is their end. The Dibur extracts the sparks of holiness from amongst them. Then the klipas, the goishket emuna, loses all taste. It doesn't do anything. It's like, that causes the goyim, but they need meaning. They need something to give them chayas, and then they're coming back to Emunas Yisrael. This is the main completeness and perfection of the jewels and adornment of the Emunah. The Emunah is not only complete, but it's also beautiful. It's also, and it's like a woman that is getting ready and beautifies herself for her husband. And then the husband sees her, with this beautiful clothing, whatever it is, so he's filled with longing to her. And when the emunah is like this, in other words, you brought people who are fast in the emunah, and Zoche to be mechazing yourself in emunah, and be saved from the kash of his own heart. The kashas that have no answer, either because these are unanswerable kashas b'chlal, in other words, by the Kadosh Baruch Hu, or else because my knowledge of Torah is still not that strong. Yeah, people are great in Torah than me. For them, it's not a kasha anymore. They know the answer to that. But for me, being that I'm imperfect, my emunah is imperfect. A person is being saved from these kashas that also has no answers b'chlal. When a person has emunah and das completely, you've sharpened your das, you completed and adorned and bejeweled your emunah, then you are zoiche when you when you have such emunah, your das is complete. I mean, according to your madrega, and your emunah is complete. Then, with just by mere eating, you're just eating. You're zoiche to purify the food from the toehold, the grab of the bad in it, because the food has good and bad. The whole process of eating is a process of purification. When it grows, you cut the sheaves of wheat, the stalks of straw are the bad. The kernels are the good. All the time, each process, each step, what you're doing is you're taking off the bad and you're keeping the good. And it becomes more purified and more purified and more purified. And each time, every step of the purification process, the good becomes better and more refined, and the bad becomes worse. For instance, when you cut the wheat, the sheaves of wheat, and you separate the head of the wheat from the stalks of straw. Enachinami, a person is not able to eat it, but horses can eat it. Cows can eat it. Goats can eat it. Why? Because there's still nutrients in it. even the bad has quality, has goodness in it. But when you take just the head of the sheaf of wheat and you separate the kernels from the chaff cannot be eaten anymore. There's no nutrients in it. The kernel of wheat, the grain, now it's complete good. But when you grind it, when you purify it, there's still parts of the grain itself. There's the bran, there's the this, there's the that, all these things which are less useful. So Baruch Hashem, ba'as, that we know the bran, because the bread that we eat is so purified, we need some of this bran, for fiber, for digestion, so forth and so on. And then when a person, eats the food, makes a bracha on the food, and chews the food, and it starts the process of digestion. It separates the food is completely good. It's healthy food, right? But it goes, it has, the good and the bad, the contrast between the good and the bad is so blatant that the good, feeds the body, gives nutrients to the body, and the bad is pushed outside. It's pushed outside, and it's stinking. It's total bad. And so when the whole process of consumption of food is one long story of purification, one step after the other. Now, there is a certain part of the food that is above the nutrients that feed the body. That is the spiritual part of the food that keeps the body and the neshama together. It feeds that connection. That's the spiritual part of food. Now, when a person doesn't eat with the Emunah Shlema, that spiritual part of the food is mixed good with bad. So there's all kinds of shtuyot that comes to a person's mind have to do with the food. Rabbeinu says, the spiritual part of the food, not the physical nutrients that feed the body. The spiritual part is the thing that keeps the body and the neshama together, and it influences your mind, influences your seichel, your das. So when the food, you don't know the difference. You eat the emunah. When your emunah is so complete, the purification process is done automatically. What comes up to your das is clean. It helps your emunah. It helps your das. However, you see that, I think was Rav Nachman in the Gemara, I'm not sure, that somebody asked him, halacha, and he didn't answer him in the morning, but he answered him later. And he said, the reason why I didn't answer you in the morning, because I still didn't eat a flesh of a behemoth. I didn't eat the flesh of the meat of a behemoth. In other words, the emunah of this Amira was so complete and his das was so complete. Eating, usually when people eat, it sort of like puts them to sleep, kind of washed down. But when the emunah is so complete, it feeds his das, and he can give you an answer, on what the halacha is that he did, like wasn't clear to him before. Now it feeds his das. It doesn't lower his das, because the bad in the spiritual part doesn't pull his brain down. So when a Jew has such complete das in the emunah, he can answer the kashas that can be answered, and he knows, he knows when not to ask. By then, when he's eating, that purifies the food from the clutches of the bad, from being mixed with bad. And what that brings about is his achila, his eating, is bringing about yichud kudsha b'yichud shchinte, unification of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in his shechina, and his presence in this world, face to face. In other words, the highest level possible. Now, we will explain what happens when this momentous tikkun of Yichud Kodesh Brichu Shchinte, when that occurs, what does it do? No, what does it do? Okay, now it happened. So what's next? The emunah is so complete. That's sivav. When the emunah is so complete, when a person purifies the food from any hold of the bad, the Kodesh Baruch Hu and the Shechina are being unified, face to face. We saw when Boaz told Ruth, in the mealtime, come hither. Come forth. We know that Boaz represents Kudsha Brichu, like the Kodesh Baruch Hu, is the Yichud Zeranpin. Ruth represents the emunah. So he told her, at the time of eating, come close. As we said, through the eating, it makes Yichud Kudsha Brichu Shchinte, the marriage of Boaz and Ruth, the marriage of Kodesh Baruch Hu and the emunah. So, the very fact alone that a person is extricating the Shechina from the straits of the neck by sealing it off, it makes the emunah itself to attract the holy sparks from the klipos into the Shechina, into the emunah. He's fixing the emunah. You're completing the emunah. You're perfecting the emunah. And when the emunah is complete, then the Shechina has the koyach to come up and become one with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. And a person is causing the Shechina and the Kodesh Baruch Hu to become one at the time when you eat. When you eat, by eating, by the action of eating, you're causing Yichud Kodesh Baruch Hu. The emunah was so complete, the Shechina can go up and become one with the Kodesh Baruch Hu by the mere fact of you eating.
Yeah, I heard something like this, that through eating you could come to such a Madrega.
That's right. That's right.
It's right later.
Now each,
Is that see, I'm sorry, see prophets.
all right, yeah. You eat L'Shem Shamayim, you should have koich to Sama Kodesh Baruch Hu. Now, it's not a black and white situation. It's not yes or no. Each person, according to how much emunah he has, this is how much, to what degree he brings about that gewaldige spiritual tikkun of Yichud Kosher B'Chur Shchinten. If the tikkun is, the emunah is like, okay, basically, okay, so he's being a basic Yichud Kosher B'Chur Shchinten. Person eats kosher. And just a person that even a very simple Jew, that comes and he says, it says kosher. Who says it's kosher? Because it says kosher on the. Even that is a pchinas of emunah, even though it's an olo madrega. He already is causing Yichud Kosher B'Chur Shchinten on a certain olo madrega. Now, the more makpid you are, the more, the bigger the yichud. You're checking out what kind of echsher this is. The mashgiach, you have mashgiach, you don't have mashgiach, you're saying bracha. In other words, it's step by step by step, and commensurately with your level of amunah, this is how the degree of Yichud Kosher B'Chur Shchinten. And he says, okay, when that happens, so what does it do? So he says, Vazai de Emunah, which is the Shechina. The Emunah, the Shechina itself, is advocating before HaKadosh Baruch Hu about those who are far from Emunah. It's not just those who are Goyim or those who are Chilonim. It's also us, to bring us closer to the kind of Emunah that we need. We are also Rechoikim. So that emunah that shechina that you fixed by eating with such emunah, that shechina, that emunah itself is begging the Kadosh Baruch Hu for you. For you. The emunah that you fixed, the level of shechina that you have caused, to b'miyachal, that emunah now is asking for you. Because Baruch Hu for you. Because Baruch Hu should forgive you for all, for the emunah that wasn't proper before. Before I thought, emunah, of course. Then suddenly you find out that it's, now you realize. Because Baruch Hu says it's far from where it's supposed to be. And the Shechina is advocating for the person that a person should be zeicher to a complete and perfect emunah. There should be no go between. And the ikar militza, the main advocacy, what does emunah say? So it's as follows. The mistake of those who are far from Hashem Yisbarach is because how do they know that the Kadosh Baruch Hu? How do they know about the Kadosh Baruch Hu? They see what happens, see what Kadosh Baruch Hu does in the world. Now I understand. Kadosh Baruch Hu is so great because I see that He's making rain, he's making thunder, he's feeding me for shlema to everybody, and whatever it is that he does. The main idea of Hashem godliness, ela min hagolui al hasosim. You see the action, and listen. You go to a library and you see all these books. Somebody wrote them. Yeah. You see the bria. You see what is evidence, and from that which is evident, you see who, that there's somebody that is hidden, that created them. Because, and now, Mahmat Shiroim Big Migolo, you see from that which is evident. The world is conducted through this system of the of the zodiac of the mazalos, or people think that it's laws of nature and so forth. These are the things that in the work. It doesn't matter where people have such high understanding. They understand in astrology or astronomy, whatever it is. And or people, in scientific and physics, they understand the physics of the so they fall into mistakes, each one his own level of mistake. And they think that everything is teva, everything is just nature. Nature. Olam kiminoga noeg, the world repeats. Same old. There's a certain kind of, as it were, nature, laws of nature that was stamped into the world, and it continues to. It's like the Ruach did what it did, and then the world, kaviyachol, as it were, runs on its own. Now, yes, there are those who have higher emunah. They're not higher emunah, they have more emunah. Now, and there are those that believe that Kadosh Baruch Hu runs the world, yes. You have to worship the intermediary, as they made a mistake in the Egel. They didn't think that the Egel created the world. But they thought, we had Moshe before, now we need another Moshe. Wherever the Egel. They wanted to make the Egel the intermediary between them and Hashem Yisbarach. That will walk before us. In such mistakes, many are making these kind of mistakes. They're making the reasons that what's going on, the thing that brings about whatever it is, that the Ratzon Hashem comes to me through somebody give me money, or I work, and they make the reasons the main thing. You know why you didn't succeed? Because you didn't have the chachma to do it, or you didn't work hard enough, or whatever. That's the main thing. If you don't work hard enough, then they believe in Hashem Yisbarach. They also believe in the intermediary. The Omrim, you need the intermediary. You can't go without it. I know. For instance, let's talk about what brings parnasa to a person. Shua masa matan, it's business. Business is the thing that brings parnasa.
Yeah.
And then they say, Shasiva shel masa matan ikar. The main, Kadosh Baruch Hu gives a bracha in it. But the main thing is masa matan, is business. Chas v'sholem b'la siba shel masa matan, as if chas v'chalila, without doing business, Kadosh Baruch Hu cannot give a parnasa. When Yehovah Hashem Yisbarach yitain lehem parnasa, Kadosh Baruch Hu is not capable of giving them parnasa. Similarly, these are two separate things. V'asiba shel refuah, health. Shua samim, this is medications, whatever. Osim mehem ikar, from them you're doing, like they are the main thing. Kadosh Baruch Hu gives it a bracha, but the main thing is keilu chas v'sholem bli asamim, without the medications, without the doctors, and Yehovah Hashem Yisbarach v'apeh chas v'sholem. It says ve'ein adover kain, but this is not the situation. This is not the truth. Ki HaKadosh Baruch Hu sibas kol hasibos. He is the reason behind all reasons. He is the cause of all causes. Ve'en tzorech l'shum siba. There's no need for any cause, any tool in between. Just a second. In order to bring about the end result. So why do we have to do business? Why we do go to doctors? Why do we deal with the intermediaries? And the reason why we deal with the sibos, whenever it is that we are engaging, doing this ishtadlus, when we are doing this ishtadlus, any kind of ishtadlus, we have to believe that the Hashem is Baruch alone. We have to believe in Kadosh Baruch Hu alone, not make the sibos the main thing.
This is where I got the song from. There's a guy who has a Sibot HaSibot.
Can you yeah.
There's a song.
Can you shut off this
You know the song?
air conditioner?
You know that song you're talking about?
There's a tefillah. There's a tefillah. Yeah. After Tikkun HaKlolim. I think Rabbeinu wrote it. I don't know if Rabbeinu wrote it or Ibn Nosson wrote it.
But here he's got the same words here.
Yeah. That's what it says. In other words, when we are doing our ishtadlus in doing the causes, the thing that we use, in the process of Parnasa and Muna, whatever, this in itself is the will of Hashem Yisbarach. That's the Ratzon of Hashem Yisbarach. Because Baruch Hu wants us to do the ishtadlus, so we'll do ishtadlus al pi derech hateva. But Kadosh Baruch Hu can send Parnasa and Refuah also in a different way. So comes the question. So why do we need to do the ishtadlus? What is it for?
Yeah.
The answer is we come to this world to fix ourselves, to rectify ourselves. So it can be zechet to Olam Haba, zechet to Gan Eden. How is it done? The way that it is done is with Bechira. Bechira is when we have the ability to say, Kadosh Baruch Hu is really the reason of everything. Or, like wink, wink. Yeah, Kadosh Baruch Hu is behind it, but come on. You got to learn marketing. You got to, that's the main thing. It's Kadosh Baruch Hu knows what you really think. And again, it's not an all or nothing situation. It's a process where you peel off that you're doing the ishtadlus simply because you need to do ishtadlus. It's up to Kadosh Baruch Hu completely. So I'm doing ishtadlus. That's the way Kadosh Baruch Hu says. This is how he wants the people to do. To make ishtadlus when it's very tempting to give in. The Rebbe said that because of Shebelibo, the heresy in one's heart, it's the ishtadlus that really does it. Come on, let's be realistic. That's not because it's in the heart of a person. Or a person can know that Hashem Yisbarach alone, is the reason for everything, and the ishtadlus for Bechira. That's it. It's for Bechira. For the Bechira, so I have choice to believe that no, it's a Kadosh Baruch Hu does everything. I see I'm doing it, and it happens. I see everything. That is why ishtadlus is in the world. So you overcome it, and you enter the emunah. Won't be captured in this union of Sibuis. Ad Hashem Ad Kan for today. This is,
Both is what? The reason?
yeah, it's causes. Causes. The causes, causes. In causality, something brings about, something causes this, causes that. So this is what we need to believe. That the Kadosh Baruch Hu alone gives parnasa. Kadosh Baruch Hu alone gives refuah. And we have to daven for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we shouldn't make a mistake. We need to do what we need to do because that's how HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. But the main reason, the only reason be'emet, is HaKadosh Baruch Hu alone, that Hashem will be zoiche, that Hashem, that all those who need refuah have refuah shlema, all those who need health, they shall have complete health. All those who need parnasa, that Hashem will have refuah shlema, Yeshua shlema, and a lot of simcha, that Hashem, bevias God,
Amen, amen, amen.
Amen, that Hashem. All right, you just, when they get, stop the recording.